Asada Israel here with another dosey dose. So I just made a post on Instagram and I was just expressing my love for Nipsey Hussle, Kevin Gates, Kevin Hart, um, and Kobe Bryant. Like their words really really move my soul. Like the way that they say things, it really resonate with the way that I think. And like it really just put me in a perspective of duality. And like I said in the post, like I feel like as women, I specifically said a black African woman in America, um, that we should listen to the men perspectives, like listen to men wisdom, listen to how they think, like men like that, like listen to their mind before you can love a man. You have to be willing to understand his struggle. And it's like in understanding his struggle, you have to listen to what men actually go through with women and what men go through in life. And I feel like the same goes vice versa, that men should listen to women's inspiration and stuff, wisdom, and then listen to what women go through with men. Because then once you have that understanding, you begin to look at love different. You begin to look at life different because you begin to become more compassionate to how you do things instead of using that as a tool to fuel her anger. You using it as a tool to be compassionate to her love, be compassionate to her heart, because you never know how heavy a person's heart is. Like when I got on the first video I seen on Facebook today, I mean not Facebook, Instagram today, it was a woman talking about her struggle with love, like the way that she was being creative and how she was expressing it. But like if you like when you really like, she had it looked like for a good 10 years she went through struggling relationships to where a man, she was I think it said she was dating this man for 3 years, only to find out that his pregnant wife, something with his pregnant wife. And I'm like, damn. And they was married before he was married before they was in a relationship. And man, they was in a relationship for 3 years. For the next man, it's gonna be kind of difficult for him to love her if he don't understand what she been through. That's just the first thing. Cause then she said that she was dating this man and the police kicked in their door and arrested him. That's another traumatic relationship within the same time span. And then you got a third relationship where she met this wealthy man only for him to get deported because of fraud and money laundering. So it's like, damn, what's really going on? Like she went through 3 failed relationships. So it's like that is a lot of that is why women become overly masculine, because she had to live in a state of survival from love. Like when you really think of it, like when a woman when a woman isn't able to live in her nurturing aspect, she becomes a hunter, because now she has to learn to survive on her own, because the men that's coming into her life aren't protecting her to the point where she can nurture the love. She literally have to protect herself. And it's like, that's why like men be talking about they don't want no independent woman, they don't want this, they don't want that. Like you're not even giving a woman the sound, safe, and security for her to be a woman. Like, if you going out cheating, if you bringing mess to the house, if you filled with drama, if you doing all of this, if you bringing all of this negativity into the home, she will not sit there and act like a woman. Because you got a bro sitting next to you at this point, because she gotta be a ride or die. Because if a motherfucker come into the house, she gonna pull out that gun too and help you. Like, and that's because we both have that nurturing and that hunter aspect inside of us. Our feminine energy is the nurturing aspect, but our masculine energy is the hunter. And it's like, we have to realize that, like, if like we are chemically prone to making decisions. We don't necessarily make decisions because we think that's the right thing. Our brain release chemicals into our body, and we respond to trauma based on how our body perceives the information. That's why we have to become aware of what's going on, and we have to be willing to shift our perspective and see things for what they are, and not for what we want them to be. You cannot blame a woman. You cannot blame a single mother for being overly protective of her heart and of her children. You cannot blame her for that. Only thing you can do is love that woman so that she can become the woman that she wants to be in her heart. No, don't no woman want to be a man unless that's their choice. No woman wants to be perceived as a man unless it's their choice. Like, that's what you have to realize, and the same goes vice versa. I'm not finna go down that web and explain it from a man's perspective. I am a woman. So you can reverse the roles and understand it how you perceive it, okay? But definitely, like, we have to realize with our real eyes the real lies. Like, we grew up in survival mode. So that is why women have been in survival mode. Like, I heard Tyler Perry say this best, and I say Tyler Perry because he Madea. But he said that when it comes to a woman who's living with a broken heart, and you choose to be in that woman's life, you have to be willing to nurture her heart and protect her love for you. You cannot come into her life and cause more trauma because you don't understand her trauma. Like, you have to be willing to listen and see things for what they are, not for what you want them to be. You cannot go into a relationship with expectations and limitations from your old relationships. You cannot bring your bag, like Erykah Badu in the song Bag Lady. You cannot bring your past relationships into your new relationship. The thing is about your past relationships, they are supposed to be lessons on teaching you how to love in your next relationship. That is why it's the past and you living in the present to create your future. That's how you have to look at things. You are learning from your past to thrive in your future. To thrive in your present, to create your future. Like, you cannot go based off of what everybody else think and say. That may not be what's for you. Like, that's one thing I cannot stand that people do, that we do as a society. Like, we feel like just because this is how it's always been, that this is how it is. Like, for instance, my uncle, when I was 17, he killed himself. And it's like, that opened my eyes to suicide. Because that is an uncle I love. That's a man I loved in my life. I truly love the man. Like, he's my uncle. And it's like, in the Bible, like, if you grew up in a Christian household, they tell you that when you kill yourself, God, that's an unforgivable sin. But it's like, when you become consciously aware of life, you realize, like, that's an illusion. If a person was suffering their entire life, I guarantee you God is not going to make them suffer for the rest of their life just because they decided that they were tired of suffering. Because, like, okay, that person chose suicide. What's the difference between someone who's suffering from illness and they choosing to surrender to the light? It's the same thing. How you choose to look at it is your choice. But it's the same thing. Because the angel of death came the same time. The same way. And it's like, that's how we have to look. Like, you cannot go based off of everybody else's perspective. You have to see what resonates with your heart. In my eyes, my uncle is at peace. He's not he's not at war with his mind anymore. Like, I just lost my auntie the other day. Like, she's not suffering through her body anymore. And it's like, that's what we have to realize as people. Like, you have to add meaning to the suffering in life. You have to add meaning to things that's happening in your life. Other people cannot come into your life and tell you what it means to you, because they haven't experienced it. They didn't walk in your shoes. That's why I love rap music and hip hop and all of that, because only they can tell how what their story was like. We cannot sit up here and judge them and tell them that they are wrong for the lifestyle that they live. Did you live that? Did you see what they had to go through? Was you laying next to them in bed every night to see why they was making the choices that they was making? No. Only thing you can do is listen to what they saying and see why they think the way they think. And understand, like, everybody was not raised the same. Everybody didn't have the same toolbox. Everybody don't have the same eyes and brain to perceive life in the way that it is for them. Like, in Africa, they don't have no, like, I don't know. I haven't seen every country in Africa, but I haven't seen a skyscraper in Africa. But when you come in America, you specifically Chicago, you see skyscrapers. You know what a skyscraper look like. You know what a skyscraper is. But if you say skyscraper up in Africa, they may think you talking about a bird or something like that. Like, oh, this is something that really taught me. Like, for instance, in Chicago, we say waterfall. Like, that's when you pour a drink into your mouth that's somebody else's type shit. But like, we call it a waterfall. But when I went to college for 2 years in Ohio, and some people in Ohio, they call it an air drink. And I'm like, what the hell, an air drink? But it's like, how can I tell them that is wrong? Because it makes sense, in all honesty. But like, how can I tell them that they wrong for saying it like that? If we didn't live the same life, we didn't grow up in the same area, we don't have that same knowledge, we don't see life the same. Like, they taught me something. I taught them something. And that's all life is. Like, we learn from each other. Just like parents learn from children. A mother learns from their child, a father learns from his child. A mother learns from the father, and a father learns from the mother. Like, that's how life is. You can't just pick and choose what you want to apply rules to. There are universal laws that keep the world round. And it's like, if you pick and choose which law pertains to which lesson. I said that wrong. Hold on. If you pick and choose what you want to pay attention to and how you want to look at it, it defines it defines whether you're going to repeat the generational curse or you're going to break the generational curse. You have to be willing to shift your perspective so that you can become aware of the different perspectives or the different ways to look at things. Because it's not one way. It's not one way to life. It's multiple different perspectives. In Chicago, we never experienced the tsunami. But if you go to another country, they know how to prepare for those types of things because they experienced them. And it's like that does not make us ignorant because we never experienced that. We are ignorant, yeah, but if you never experienced something, that's just something you never experienced before. That's just something that you can be willing to learn if you ever encounter it. Or actually, it's just a lesson to learn. Everything is just a lesson to learn. I ain't finna go down the web of my damn mind. My mind, I dig deeper. I dig deep. Okay? I have a deep soul. Like, I was just thinking of something I heard Lauryn Hill say, or Nipsey Hussle, one of them. But it was Lauryn Hill, because she said that Nipsey Hussle used to say this about her, but she said that he used to say that her soul is deeper than the earth. And it's like that's how we have to look at life. We have to go deep into the earth and see things for what they are and really reason with it. Because once you get a real deeper understanding of it, then you know how to handle it. Then you can say you know something. But even if you do that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you know, because a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna end this right now because I lost track of my original point, but definitely listen to this video. Peace and love.